Hello friends, welcome to my channel Anthropology Insights. Today we are going to study the Indian anthropology, its growth and development. So, anthropology in India was introduced by anthropologists from England who came to India and collected data on Indian populations and prepared monographs on them. It was during the second half of the 19th century when a number of monographs on tribal and other communities were written by the British administrators and anthropologists. So एंथ्रोपोलॉजी की शुरुआत जो हुई है इंडिया में वो ब्रिटिश एरा में हुई थी जब नंबर ऑफ ट्रैवलर्स एंड मिशनरीज एंड डिफरेंट administrators basically collected the data on Indian population and prepared monographs. Monographs in the sense it is a detailed and written study of a specialized subject or any aspect. A small number of Indian anthropologists who were being trained by the British to assist them in their anthropological work began to appear on the scene. By the beginning of the 20th century, Department of Anthropology were set up in the various universities which in time produced large number of students. Since then, anthropology as an integrated science of man made a headway and today there are over 30 departments of anthropology across the country. So here are the phases of development. The growth of Indian anthropology has been divided into different periods by anthropologists in various ways. First one, S.C. Roy. He classified the growth of anthropology in India in terms of sources of population such as magazines, handbooks and monographs, and also in terms of nationality of the authors. Second one is S.C. Dubey. He classified in three phases: compilation and publication of volumes on tribes and caste. Second, detailed monographs, studies of individual tribes, mostly based upon personal observation. Third one is quantitative advancement and qualitative achievements. So basically in the first stage there was just a collection of information on tribes and caste, and in the second phase he said that there was a detailed study of monograph on individual tribes, and thirdly there was a quantitative and qualitative advancement in the, of course, in the way of studying the anthropology as well as in different methodologies. Third one is N.K. Bose. He divided the development of anthropology in three phases. First one is encyclopedia of tribes and caste. Second one is descriptive monographs. Third one is analytical studies of village, marriage and family, caste and civilization. Here the ways of divisions are almost the same. Fourth one, D.N. Mazumdar. This anthropologist is important because we are going to study the each and every phase in detail. So he divided the growth into three historical periods. First one is formulatory, which is from 1774 to 1911. Second is constructive period, which is from 1912 to 1937. And third one is critical phase, which is from 1938 and onwards till date. So here there is a difference in the opinions for the phases of the anthropology. D.N. Mazumdar feels that the critical period began with publication of a problem-oriented monograph on the Ho tribe, published under the title A Tribe in Transition, a Study in Culture Patterns, published by Longmans-Green and Company, London in 1937. And here is a different view of L.P. Vidyarthi, and according to him the constructive period actually started around 1920 with the opening of the Department of Anthropology in Calcutta with R. Chandra as its head, and starting of Indian Journal of Anthropology by S.C. Roy in 1921. So, and also Indian and British anthropologists met on the occasion of Silver Jubilee of the Indian Science Congress in 1938, and this meeting actually marked the critical period of the growth of anthropology. So, according to D.N. Mazumdar, the critical period starts from 1937 by the publication of this monograph on Ho, but according to L.P. Vidyarthi, it actually starts from 1921 with the start of Journal on Anthropology by S.C. Roy, and also with the establishment of the Department of Anthropology with R. Chandra its head. Okay. So the critical period witnessed the initiation of American collaboration with the Lucknow University in anthropological studies. So ये जो critical period है that actually witnessed the collaboration of American anthropologists with Lucknow University. An important publication of this period was Religion and Society Among the Kurks of South India by M.N. Srinivas, published by the Oxford University Press in 1952. Critical period was also called as analytical period by some anthropologists. So all these periods we are going to study in detail. So the first period is formative period, which starts with the establishment of the Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1974. The period seemed to have been characterized by an emphasis on tribes, a natural history approach, and description of the diversity of customs. A variety of encyclopedias on tribes and caste were published during this period. Sir William Jones started Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1974 as its founder president to study nature and man in India. Since then, the British administrators, missionaries, travelers, and anthropologists studied and collected data on tribal and rural groups and wrote about their lives and culture in the Journal of Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784, Indian Antiquary in 1872, the Journal of Bihar and Odisha Research Society in 1915, and Man in India in 1921. So the British administrators, the missionaries, the travelers, and other anthropologically oriented individuals wrote many monographs and journal on the tribal people and the rural groups of India after the establishment of Asiatic Society of Bengal by William Jones. So next thing is, along with other historical and geographical information, they also collected ethnographic data and published a series of district gazetteers, handbooks on tribes and caste, and then a number of monographs were published. So a number of district gazetteers, handbooks, monographs were also published along with the ethnographic data. Ethnographic data actually means the scientific description of people and cultures with their customs, habits, and mutual differences and everything. The next point is, data were collected on the tribes during the census in 1931 and 1941. According to Gopal Saran, the origin of anthropology in India goes back to the days of British colonial administration in the latter half of the 19th century. The British administrators gradually realized that the good acquaintance with the native and their culture was a basic prerequisite for governing them properly without falling foul of their customs. So British administrators thought that it was important to study Indian anthropology so that they don't come in conflict with the natives and their customs and rituals, and also they can administer them well. Therefore, the administrative needs of the British rules forced them to use official machinery to gather information about the social institutions, economic conditions, and religious practices and beliefs of the native Indians, who could be grouped easily into the tribes and caste. Important contributors in the direction was made by the anthropologically oriented British administrators such as Risley, Dalton, O'Malley, Russell, Thurston and Crookes. Campbell, Latham and Risley published general books on Indian ethnology. These were followed by detailed account of specific tribes by Briggs, Shakespeare, Gardell, Mills, Parry and Gregson. Apart from ethnographic reports, listing of customs and administrative reports, there are also land revenue settlement reports that gave a more realistic functional idea of the Indian rural society, like the work of Dalton, Buchanan and Lord Baden-Powell. So apart from just ethnographic data collection and listing the customs and administrative reports, there was also the reports on land revenue settlements, so that they could get a detailed insight on the rural situation of the Indian society. Some missionaries also made important ethnographic and linguistic studies. Among these were P.O. Bodning, P.O. Bodding and J. Hoffman, C.J. Seligman, B.G. Seligman, and A.R. Radcliffe Brown. In 1911, W.H.R. Rivers' important work, The Toads, was published by Macmillan and Company, London. Again in 1922, A.R. Radcliffe Brown's work, The Andaman Islanders, was published by Cambridge University Press. So different works by different anthropologists and their studies on specific tribes were published in. H.H. Risley, who published his account of tribes and caste of Bengal in 1891, became famous as head of the census operations and later on created a place for himself in Indian anthropology with his most celebrated book, The People of India. He headed the census operations also, and his one of the famous books is The People of India. Many others who were not anthropologists also influenced the discipline. These included Indians like Dadabhai Nauroji, G.K. Gokhale, R.C. Dutt, M.G. Ranade, Rajaram Mohan Roy, K.C. Sen, Ramakrishna Paramhans and Swami Vivekananda. So जो 18th सेंचुरी में जो रिफॉर्मिस्ट या रिवाइवलिस्ट मूवमेंट्स हो रही थी या फिर डिफरेंट राइटिंग्स हो रहे, जैसे दादा भाई नौरोजी ने एक बुक लिखी थी, द मैनर्स एंड द कस्टम्स ऑफ द पारसीज in Bombay in 1864. Also, he wrote the European and Asiatic races. So, these types of literary works, as well as their contribution to the society in the form of reformist movements or as a social reformer, they actually directly or indirectly influenced the Indian people and Indian anthropology as well. Sir George Abraham Grierson from 1898 conducted the Linguistic Survey of India, which was published between 1903 to 28, obtaining information on 364 languages and dialects. The Mythic Society of Bangalore was also publishing a journal by this time. So linguistic एक approach जो होता है anthropological linguistic surveys were being conducted from actually 1898, and these surveys were published between 1903 to 28 by Sir George Grierson, and the Mythic Society was also publishing some journals by this time. So the second period is actually constructive period, and according to D.N. Majumdar it starts from 1912, but LP Vidyarthi, according to him, it was extended up to 1920. So in 1919, social anthropology was included in the curricula of Bombay University in sociology. In 1921, Department of Anthropology was started at Calcutta University under the inspiration of A.C. Haddon and W.H.R. Rivers. Calcutta had produced some fine anthropologists. Prominent among them were K.P. Chattopadhyay, T.C. Das, D.N. Majumdar, N.K. Bose and P.C. Biswas. So all these are the finest anthropologists of the time of constructive period. These scholars had done extensive work on the tribes and caste of Eastern and Middle India and produced theory-oriented monographs and papers based on first-hand field data. So all these anthropologists work extensively in the Eastern and the Middle Indian area and produce theory-oriented monographs and papers and field data. Among the earliest Indian anthropologists, the name of S.C. Roy stands as a colossus. Roy published his first exhaustive monograph on the Munda tribe in 1912, Urao in 1915, Birhor in 1925, Kharia in 1937, and many other pioneering works, and was subsequently called as Father of Indian Ethnology, Father of Indian Ethnology. So, S.C. Roy he was being called as father of Indian ethnology because he actually wrote many monographs on different tribes like Munda tribe, Borao tribe, or Biror, Kharia, and many other work was done by him. So that's why he was being called as father of Indian ethnology. So R.P. Chandra's work on the Indo-Aryan race in 1916 also generated interest among the students. सो डिफरेंट एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट के जो वर्क्स थे इम्पोर्टेंट या फेमस वर्क्स थे दैट वाज एक्चुअली फैसिनेटिंग द इंडियन students. In 1938, a joint session of the Indian Science Congress Association and the British Association reviewed the progress of anthropology in India. This was the first review of the anthropological researches in India. सो 1938 में जो जॉइंट सेशन हुआ था इंडियन साइंस कांग्रेस एसोसिएशन एंड ब्रिटिश एसोसिएशन का, जहाँ पे इंडियन एंड ब्रिटिश एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट ने मिलके इंडियन एंथ्रोपोलॉजी की ग्रोथ की रिव्यू की थी, एंड दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम दैट इंडियन एंथ्रोपोलॉजी वाज बीइंग रिव्यूड. Among the most notable contribution made to anthropology during this period are the works of D.N. Majumdar, M.N. Srinivas, Warrior Elwin, C. von Fourier-Hemmendorf, and N.K. Bose. During this period, the tribal studies continued to be the exclusive field of study by the enlightened British scholars, administrators, missionaries, and later by the British and Indian anthropologists till the end of the 40s of the 20th century. Indian anthropology was characterized by ethnological and monographic studies with a special emphasis on research in kinship and social organizations. So in this period, the special emphasis was given on the social institutions like kinship, family, and other social organizations, and their ethnological and monographic studies. So the third period here is critical period or analytical period. According to D.N. Majumdar, this phase began in 1938 and carried on to the present. During this phase, a shift was seen from the descriptive studies of pre-literate villages to the analytical studies of complex societies. The Americans who came to India during this period made their works famous for all time and immortalized also the names of the villages they worked in. These studies began with the work of Sir Henry Sumner Maine, Sir Baden-Powell, Maurice Opler, F.G. Bailey, Robert Redfield, Kathleen Gogg, M.R. Goodall, Milton Singer, etc. So और भी बहुत नाम है, you can Google it. There is a list of so many anthropologists. I have just written the selected names here. Indian anthropologists who were included in the group are S.C. Dubey, M.N. Srinivas, A. Ayyappan, D.N. Majumdar, Professor Inderpal Singh, K.S. Mathur, Yogendra Singh, G.S. Gurre, etc. A large number of village study monographs were published in the 1960s through the Census of India 1961, of which a study of Ghagra by L.P. Vidyarthi was one of the first. So the number of monographs were also published during the 1960s through the Census of India in 1961, and the study of Ghagra by L.P. Vidyarthi was one of the first. A large amount of data generated on a very large number of villages from all over India provided a very good baseline from which emerged other kind of studies as well as new theoretical ideas. So इस पीरियड में लार्ज नंबर ऑफ स्टडीज़ की गई डिफरेंट विलेजेस की, उसकी बेसलाइन बढ़ गई, तो वी कुड एक्चुअली फ्रेम डिफरेंट theoretical ideas based on these studies. Among the important seminars conducted and published during this period are urgent researches in social anthropology and tribal situation in India, published by Indian Institute of Advanced Study, Simla. Numerous papers have been published by anthropologists in India concerning change leading to tribal identity, integration, vanishing culture and planning, emergence of industrial anthropology, increased emphasis on tribal demography, integrated study of tribal religions, etc. So important contributions has been made to action research, socio-psychological research, and folklore research, studies of power, structure and leadership, and anthropology of religion. The role of Indian social and religious traditions in economic development were studied with special emphasis on the theories of Max Weber. The study of religion in the context of Indian villages was initiated by M.N. Srinivas in 1952, Social Change in Modern India, who developed the concept of Sanskritization to explain the process of change in Hindu village, religion and society among the Kurks of South India. So Sanskritization here means the adoption of culture and the traditional practices of upper caste by the lower caste people. So actually these brought changes in the Hindu villages as well as Indian caste systems. By 1953, attempts were being made in India to use anthropological knowledge to intervene, train, develop, and to help the tribals. This was done through the setting up of the tribal research and training institutes all over India at the instance of the Commissioner for Scheduled Caste, and now it is National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes. So by the time of 1953, we actually have started intervening into the tribal societies to develop them and to train them. We have actually set up many institutions like tribal research and training institutions all over the country. Such institutes would conduct researches and their data would be used for all planning and welfare programs. Studies have also been conducted on adult franchise, urbanization, industrialization, and their effects on the caste system. One of the major events was the setting up of the Indian Council of Social Science Research, that is ICSSR, in 1969, which started funding a lot of social anthropological work in India. Many anthropologists developed distinct research methodology, including Das. They used genealogy to study Purum society. Genealogy means genealogists compile list of ancestors and which they arranged in pedigree chart or different written forms, and then they study the kinship and all those relationships. So this is called genealogy. N.K. Bose, spatial distribution technique used to date Indian temples, use of human geography in study of culture, historical issues, as well as the use of family histories in the studying social change in urban centers. Chattopadhyay and Mukherjee, they used statistics in studying social change in urban center as well as overall in societies. Iravati Karve, text analysis incorporated with kinship studies. LP Vidyarthi, using the concept of sacred centers, cluster and segment to study sacred complexes. So this was the growth. Also attempts have been made to review the growth of anthropology in India. In 1921, S.C. Roy presented a bibliography of the publications of tribal and caste studies in India, and around 1946, D.N. Mazumdar reviewed the development of anthropology in India. Similarly, G.S. Ghurye reviewed the development of anthropology in Bombay in volume published by UNESCO in 1956. Also, S.C. Dubey presented a review in the proceedings of the 4th International Congress of Anthropology and Ethnological Science in 1952 in Vienna. In 1962, he presented another one entitled Anthropology in India. So, similarly, N.K. Bose also prepared a small booklet entitled 50 Years of Science in India, Progress of Anthropology and Archaeology. L.P. Vidyarthi reviewed the growth of social anthropological research in India in his 2 papers published in 1966. He also published a thorough and comprehensive review of the growth of Indian anthropology in his books entitled Rise of Anthropology in India, A Social Science Orientation, Volume 1, The Tribal Dimensions and Rise of Anthropology in India, Volume 2, The Rural, Urban and Other Dimensions, published in 1978. Among those who made important contributions to the growth of anthropology in India, the most notable were the studies of P.N. Mishra, L.K.A. Iyer, K.P. Chattopadhyay, T.C. Das and D.N. Majumdar in the East and North India, and G.S. Gure, Iravati Karve, L.K. Ananthakrishnan Iyer, and A. Ayyappan in the West and South India. So these are the anthropologists prominently actually worked in India, in eastern, northern, western and southern India. Among the research institutions, governmental, semi-autonomous and autonomous, Anthropological Survey of India is probably the largest of its kind in the world. It has several regional stations and employs hundreds of professional anthropologists who are engaged in research in social as well as physical anthropology. So हमारा जो एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया है that is probably the biggest institute of its kind, which actually employs hundreds of and thousands of professionals, and they are also engaged in the research activities on social as well as physical aspects of the anthropology. The application role of anthropology has come to be recognized in the fields such as state programs as family welfare, public health, adult education, community development, environmental sanitation, as well as regional development, etc. So the application of anthropology is being expanded day by day. So they are being used in various fields and for various purposes like education and development, sanitation, health, family welfare programs and everything. So anthropologists are working in tribal research institutes, Office of the National Commission of SCs and STs, Officer of the Registrar General of India, Indian Agricultural Research Institute, Space Application Center, museums, various constituents of the CSIR, Planning Commission, now it is Niti Aayog, and many other diverse and important institutions. Anthropologists can contribute a lot in identifying root causes which lie within the society. Indian anthropology therefore should focus on new issues and problems being faced by the developing country and provide solutions. So there is a lot of scope for anthropology in almost every field. So this is the growth and development of Indian anthropology, and in my next video I'm going to discuss about the development of each branch, that is social, physical anthropology, archaeological anthropology. So I hope you could understand everything clearly. Thank you. So I hope you could understand everything clearly. Thank you.